Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you are doing great. So today's video is really special for me because I am reviewing a very special fragrance in my collection, and this is fairly new in my collection as well, and this is a masterpiece. And this is the kind of fragrance that challenges me and that makes me excited when I think about my fragrance journey and my fragrance collection. So this fragrance is none other than Promise from the house of Frederic Malle, and the perfumer is Dominic Ropion. Guys, this is a gem of a fragrance. This is a masterpiece, and I don't advise any of you guys who have starting their fragrance journey, those who like the mass appealing fragrances, to put your nose, because this is a beast right here. And those of my friends who have been using a lot of fragrances and who have some experience in the fragrance journey, they have their favorites from Amouage, Parfums de Marly. This video is for you guys. So if you are in the same or if you are at a point in your fragrance journey like me, I would definitely advise you, or I would urge you to at least try a sample of this fragrance. This is a true masterpiece, and I will say why I consider this fragrance as one of my masterpiece fragrances. So this fragrance is from the Desert Gems collection from Frederic Malle. So if you don't know, the Desert Gems collection of Frederic Malle has I think 4 or 5 fragrances if I'm not wrong, and they are very costly, very expensive fragrances. So this is Promise, and the other fragrance that are in this collection are the Moon, the Night, and Dawn. And I believe they have come out with a new fragrance called Hope, but that fragrance is literally Promise in another bottle. It's like 90% Promise, and it's sold for like $1,000. And coming to Promise, this is the most affordable one in the collection. This goes for maybe, the retail price is around $450 if I'm not wrong, $450 or $470 for the 100 ml. And if you're considering the higher fragrances like the Moon, the Night, Dawn, they go for like $1,000. So I have always been hearing about this Desert Gem line, and I have always been fascinated, but I never had the money to spend that much money, to spend that much kind of an or to do an investment of $1,000 to buy a fragrance. So as I said, this is the affordable one. Still it will cost you like $450, but in discounters you might get it for like around $300 to $350. And this is an oud based fragrance. Though oud is not listed as a note in this fragrance, it's the cypriol oil mixing with labdanum and patchouli which is giving that oud smell. And although oud is not listed, you get a strong oud in this fragrance. This is an oud fragrance, and this is like a gold tier fragrance of oud. And I don't think there is any other fragrance that can come after this, because I consider this as like the how can I say it, like I don't think there is any other fragrance that can come in the future that can challenge this fragrance. This is the most challenging oud fragrance, and even the Night is the most challenging one. So this fragrance has a prominent apple note, and the kind of apple note you get is like a very tart, sour kind of a green apple, and it's there is a lot of green aspects in this fragrance. Like the immediate opening of this fragrance is green mixed with camphor and animalic notes of castodium. So this is like a very powerful animalic kind of a fragrance with oud and green apple. And what makes this fragrance different from other oud fragrance or rose oud fragrance, say Ombre Nomad, is that this fragrance is in a different league of its own. If you consider Ombre Nomad, there are many fragrances, especially if you go to Middle East, there are many rose oud fragrances that are in the same league as Ombre Nomad, but nothing quite like Promise from Frederic Malle. So let's just go through the notes quickly. This fragrance opens with top notes of apple, as I said, the green apple, pink pepper, rosemary, saffron, and cloves. So pink pepper gives that a spicy, rosy kind of a fragrance, and rosemary. Rosemary is like a green, camphorous, minty kind of smell. So that's where the camphorous green smell is coming from in this fragrance. And in the middle notes, we have the Bulgarian rose and Turkish rose. So these are like very expensive rose notes they are using in this fragrance. And towards the base notes, we have cypriol oil or nagarmota. This note is used in many of the amouage fragrances. Patchouli, castoreum. Castoreum gives that leathery, musky, animalic vibe. Labdanum, kind of like a sweet ambery or ambery leathery note. And then ambroxan. So this fragrance has ambroxan, and I feel that's one of the reasons why this fragrance lasts and lasts for a long time. As I said, this is a beast, but this is kind of, although it's a beast, it won't be bothering people because it has its classiness. Although it's a powerful performer, it maintains its classiness all throughout the fragrance journey. So imagine a tart green apple that has all the greenness mixed with oud, with animalic notes of castoreum and camphor. So if you can picture all these notes put in a fragrance, that's basically promise. And the kind of people I can imagine rocking this fragrance are powerful billionaire kind of people, because this is like, this screams luxury, elegance. And sometimes when I wear this fragrance, I feel I'm not worthy of wearing this fragrance, because these are the images that comes in my mind when I think of a promise, like someone with the authority, someone very powerful, someone rich, screams of luxury. That's the vibe this fragrance gives off. And coming to other fragrances, like the green apple note, I have some fragrances that makes use of green apple note. Like some of them are my favorites, like Ganymede. This is also one of the most unique and luxurious smelling fragrances, my absolute favorite. And then there is the mass pleasing fragrance Greenly from Perfumes de Marly. So these are the perfumes. And also I want to mention a fragrance from Brioni called EDP Intense. That's also very nice, but that's more of an oriental take of green apple and oud. But it's like very different from Promise, because this is on a different level. This is the gold tier fragrance I have sniffed in my journey. So that's the and coming to performance, I told you it's a beast. Longevity, projection, amazing. It will last days on your clothes. So you don't need much sprays of this fragrance, like 4 to 5 max, I would say. And this will perform. And I'm not saying this will be liked and complimented by everyone, but those who compliment this fragrance, they have a real class of their own. That's the only thing I can say. And I know that this fragrance is very kind of a love or hate fragrance, but I personally know of many people, like even ladies, who wear this fragrance and who consider this fragrance as a masterpiece. So they have, and I'm pretty sure, like they have smelled various fragrances in their journey, and only the trained noses or experienced noses can appreciate this kind of a creation. So if you are someone who only wears like Aventus or the Bleu de Chanel or Sauvage, you won't be appreciating this fragrance. This is for the people in their journey who have smelled like literally everything, and they want something captivating and some fragrance to evoke their, like, the olfactory senses, or to challenge their nose. And that I am in my fragrance journey at a point where I want that kind of a fragrance. So I basically search for these kind of fragrances that are like top tier, which is the best of the best. So even Ombre Nomad was very good, but it didn't challenge me. Like Ombre Nomad, I have smelled various fragrances like Ombre Nomad in my fragrance journey, and I have lived in Middle East, so I know like the various Middle Eastern fragrances, mostly the rose and oud. That's the combination. That's the most common fragrance that you can find in Middle East. So when comparing to those kind of fragrances, Promise is very unique, and it's the most unique in the Desert Gems collection. And there are other fragrance in the desert gems I want to own, and especially the moon, because and there is night as well. But for my personal taste, I think moon will be the fragrance for me, because that has a raspberry, like a fruity oud combination, and I am a fan of fruity oud more than a rose oud. And coming to the night, that's also like $1,000 fragrance. That's a more of a rose and oud combination, and the oud is of high quality, and it's like animalic. So if I my next dream is to own the moon from Frederic Malle. So the Promise and the moon, according to me, are the best from the Frederic Malle Desert Gems collection. And coming to the perfumer, the moon, the perfumer is Julian Raskinate, who is one of my favorites, and he has created this perfume called Fidelis from Historis D Perfumes. You must have seen me talking about this fragrance in my videos, because this is one of my absolute winter favorite fragrance that has oud. And I have heard people comparing Fidelis to the moon. Like these have the same, like similar note breakdown with raspberry and oud, and this gives off me kind of like an interlude man from Amouage vibe. Imagine interlude man made more gourmandy. This has a bit of coffee as well. This is an amazing fragrance, guys. Fidelis. But this and Promise are like poles apart, because this has that gourmandy aspect. So so there are chances that people who don't like much animalic oud kind of fragrance, they can absolutely love Fidelis. But to love Promise, you need to have an acquired taste. Like it's not a mass pleaser, but for me, the first spray and the first sniff was an absolute love. So maybe because I have like experience with lot of niche fragrances, this was an absolute and instant hit for me, and I consider this as a masterpiece fragrance, 10 out of 10. The uniqueness, the compliments I won't say, because I'm yet to wear this fragrance around people and to test it around different kinds of people and different environments. But the uniqueness factor and the quality of materials used, everything is a 10 out of 10. The smell, the performance, and what else is there? And coming to versatility, that's the only issue with this fragrance. You can't wear this for hot summer. Summer nights when the temperature is low, you can rock this fragrance. This is more of a fall and winter fragrance, but you can also wear it during the early spring, like before it gets too hot. This fragrance you can definitely rock. And now here in US it's like spring season and summer is about to start, and I got this, I think, in the wrong season, but still I'm wearing this for the spring. I don't care, and because that's how much I love and respect this fragrance. And I'm very happy to own at least one fragrance from the Desert Gems collection. It has always been a dream. I have always keeping on hearing things and people praising this fragrance, but I never had the courage to pull the trigger. But now I'm more than happy. So my next dream is to own the moon from the same Desert Gems collection. So if you like the idea of green apple, like with some green aspects, with animalic oud and labdanum, this is the fragrance you need to check out. At least try to get a sample and test for yourself. Man, even just spraying from the nozzle gives me so much pleasure. I just go through all my fragrances, and sometimes I pick the fragrance and smell it for some time. It's a different experience, and those of who like fragrance addicts like me can relate to it. How much happiness it brings you to pick your favorite fragrance and just keeping on smelling it. This is on another league, guys. So if you like the fragrances that I like, if your taste matches with mine, please get this fragrance. Wow. Earlier Amouage Royal Tobacco was my most favorite one, but this is right like tie with Amouage Royal Tobacco. Promise from Frederic Malle. I think one video is not enough for me to praise this fragrance. Amazing gem of a fragrance. I'm very happy to get it in my collection. So guys, that's it. Please let your Share your experience if you have used any of the Desert Gems collection. What are your experiences and which is your favorite one? And I would like to explore more complex niche fragrances in my journey. So that's it, guys. I'll be back. Have a nice day. Thank you.